windy out of nowhere and there's a bit of lightning here and there, and we're navigating through other boats.
The reason it's so significant is that we've been motoring. We had some lovely wind yesterday and then that dropped out. For the rest of the day we were motoring, and then this evening, what's the time now? Almost midnight?
Yeah.
And then this wind comes up from nowhere. We're just going along the top of Java. Out to the side of us are just like loads of pipelines. I guess it's gas pipelines. There's an area that we're not allowed into, a restricted area. We're just skimming along the top of that restricted area. It couldn't be nicer, apart from the fact there is a thunderstorm that we're whizzing towards.
It's actually, it looks like some really dark cloud out there, a bit of thunder and lightning, so that's what's causing this period of wind. It's up to 22, 23 knots there, so it could even get more. So we've got to watch this actually, because it's it could could blow up even more.
Is this your shift?
No, I'm still 3 hours away from my shift.
Yeah, it's not my shift either, but...
I heard the wind get up.
Me too.
Gee, I think we might even put a bit more in that Janara actually. Gee, we might even need a second reef actually as well, second reef in the main.
Yeah.
Okay, give us an update, Declan. What's just been happening?
Lots of wind, and we can't bring in Genoa. It's caught. Well, it's tangled up in itself.
Bit of a squall with this. We saw the dark clouds approaching. Now we're getting rain. Okay, rain's just started. We got hit by the squall. It's 25, 26, 27 knots. So we veered away to bring the apparent down, to bring the apparent wind down. We got 20 knots. We had up to 23 knots apparent at times. So we said, oh, we got to bring the Janara and go to wind it in, and it locks off. The rope gets caught over itself. We're just going to sit it out, ride it out. We've gone off course about 40 degrees from our destination so that we could just run with the wind a bit. So we've got 20 knots apparent now, which is okay. But yeah, crazy. Whoa, well, talk about drowned water out there. She's hosing down, cats and dogs. And but the wind, the good news, the wind has backed off, so I've turned back onto course again, and yes, 13, 14 knots apparent, and it's swung, so we're sort of taking it on the beam actually, so it's probably the true wind as well, pretty close too. Anyway, we'll have to see what the story is with the furler, see if we can get that untied at some point once this all abates. Report back. Will you be strong, Rachel?
It's so strong!
You look strong.
We're sailing the northern coast of Indonesia's most populated island, Java, destined for the country's capital, for now, Jakarta. Several days ago we left the safety of the beautiful island of Bali, taking an unusual northwest route to Bawean Island, where we uploaded a vlog and admired the brightly coloured boats with their crazy outboard motors. Then it was due west to the pretty island of Karimanjawa, which translates as a stone's throw from Java, which it is. This is where Java comes on holiday, but originally the Chinese used it as a place to stop off when on the trading route, because they found bits of old Chinese pottery in the sea, and the British used it as a penal colony.
It's got a nice feel about this place actually.
Yeah.
Very relaxed, chill. I like a lot.
I like it too. For now, our sailing through the Indonesian archipelago would be better classed as motoring due to the lack of wind, but that has all changed. However, without the earlier gentle weather, we would never have spotted some whale sharks off the Bawean coast to jump in and swim with. Those are just little guys, juveniles. Maybe, I don't know, how long do you think, Dex? 3 or 4 metres? 5 metres at the most? Yeah, the bigger one was probably 5. Smaller one maybe 3.5. Beautiful clear water. Gorgeous. There seem to be so many here, and yet I don't see any plankton in the water. It's beautifully clear. Amazing. Amazing!
We're from New Zealand. So we got a little problem here. Just don't know how it's happened, but we've just managed to catch a fishing line that was on the end of a buoy. Don't know how I didn't see it, but it's around just the propeller circulating. Oh, there's another buoy there. God blimey. And there's a fad just over there. I thought we were all clear, but anyway. It's just loosely around the propeller, it's nothing major. So Rachel's volunteered to go and I'm going to go in with her and film her. We just got to get it off and carry on. Oh, a little morning adventure, Rachel.
Yeah, nice and warm in the water.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And there they go. We didn't cut their line. I thought there was a current, but it was the sails were wrong.
No, there was no current because the sails are flapping around, but they're still creating a little bit of movement of the boat.
I went to get the buoy, or the plastic bottle that was attached to at the far end, pulled it down the boat under the rudder and then started undoing it from the propeller, but I actually got myself tangled in it somehow, and I had my leg inside, you know, because there was a lot of line there. I was trying to untangle myself as the boat was drifting, or I was drifting away from the boat, and I was thinking, because I didn't want to get it to tighten up while it was attached to the boat and I was attached to the other part, and it would all...
Oh,
lucky.
It's all in a day's work, Rachel.
All in a day's work.
Now,
I'll go back to bed now.
Now, may I avert your eyes here? I've been laying out some of our produce from yesterday.
Wow. Yeah. Did we
Look
get
at
enough? Did we get enough for the next 2 days?
Look at that, people.
My goodness, that looks gorgeous.
Doesn't it? It's amazing, isn't it?
And somewhere on our journey, our Indonesian flag flew away.
Came untied.
Who tied it? It was me. Yeah, so we bought another one. There she blows!
Beautiful thing, Rachel. It's story time. The story is we have a leaking hose in the radiator in the freshwater cooling system of the engine. What happened was back in Darwin, NAFTA, you may recall, did some work on the engines, and at some point playing around with stuff down here, he must have leaned on the freshwater hose. There's some clamps that hold the hose in position. The clamps got bent inwards and allowed the hose to touch the fan belt. And I know this because I saw water in the bilge, and it was the colour red, red being the colour of the coolant. And I did some jimmy job repairs on the way across to Indonesia, and I've been trying to source a replacement hose since then. I was hoping to get one in Bali, but the time frame to get one sent over was too long. We're on a mission, we're moving too fast to wait for the post. What I did at that time was I topped up the water bottle, which is mounted on this bulkhead side of the engine room here, and up to about 3/4 full. And away we went, motored for several hours, and the level did not drop at all. So I thought, alright, okay, I've got a temporary fix sorted. I cleaned out the bilge, dried it all out, thought sweet. Ran it for another 12 hours or so and checked the bilge. There's water in the bilge again. I go, that's not good. I checked the radiator cap this time. I think I can see the bottle's still full. And so I took the lid off the radiator cap, and there's no water you can see in the radiator. There is some there, but so I've refilled it now, but it was below the visible sign. The leak in the hose has has basically stopped the vacuum working. So I've got to do another jimmy job. I've got an idea. I've got some window sealing, I don't know what you call it, sort of rubbery stuff. I'm going to use that. I'm going to put that in the little cut that's been made in the hose, and I'll jam that in there and then tape it, because last time I just taped it. So hopefully that will create the seal, and then the tape will kind of just lock it in place. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Rachel, sorry if it doesn't.
Really weird substance in the water. It looks like something from a fire, or I don't know. It's clumps of black debris of some sort just floating by, but it's everywhere. I decided to get a net and see if I could haul some of the stuff out of the water, and I did. It's kind of distressing because it appears to be oil, or it's a black oily substance clumped together, but the fact that there's so much of it floating in the water is not a good thing. I mean, we're going through, I thought they were gas fields, but maybe they're oil fields all night, all stretched along the Java coast here.
You know what I reckon it is? I think it might be one of the container ships, because what happens is Indonesia imports most of their diesel from Singapore, and it comes into Jakarta and it transfers to ships which take it out and they transfer it down and to distribute it throughout the country. And I wonder if it's one of the container ships that has done its transfer and it's cleaned out the bilges, the oil container.
Really? And
areas.
they just clean it out into the ocean?
I wouldn't be surprised. It's not, you know.
That can't be environmentally sound.
Well, no, absolutely not. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of concern about.
Surely there are certain standards in business.
Yeah. What if we filter it and put it in the diesel tanks? Top up our jerry cans.
Oh yeah, for that missing stuff.
Missing fuel.
So we have been, well, I have been willing the internet to come in. We're getting closer to land now, and the internet's just kicked in. And the reason I wanted to know, because Finn's doing his first kind of racing of the season. He's still getting fit, so we couldn't expect too much, but he was rowing in the men's Premier Single, and I had a really good feeling, you know, this morning when I got up. I just thought, oh, you know, I think he's going to do quite well. He came second in the men's Premier Single at the beginning of the season. Now, it was a very close second. First was out ahead. He's an Olympic rower, has done the single at the Olympics, and then Finn second in 7:08.27, then third was 7:08.58, and fourth was 7:08.75. Yeah, really close for second, third and fourth. That's really good. I'm really excited. I hope he is.
Yeah, no, that's a great result. Early season stuff. I mean, it's not a selection or anything, but it's it's not the business end of the season, but it's a great start to the season. And I guess what I'm impressed with, from looking at that result without talking to Finn, is 3 boats going for that second place, and they're all neck and neck on the finish line. So that last 250 metres, it's just blood in the water. It's everything. You're giving everything you have to try, and Finn came out on top. I'd be interested to know whether he was fighting off the challenges or whether he came through to finish that race. But either way, it's a great outcome. It sets a really good mindset, not only for himself to know that he can push at the end of the race when it's really hard, but also the others will know that he can do that too, and that plays on the mind. It's good. I'll leave you up on the helmet. Wow, look at that for a boat. You know, coming into ports like this, especially as a foreign vessel, it makes you feel even more foreign, because this is so almost bizarrely, I don't know, out of context for what we're used to doing and what we're used to sailing in and places we go to. I just feel really alien, do you know what I mean?
Although the boat is Malaysian.
Yes, actually that's true. This is an
registered.
Asian registered boat, Langkawi, Malaysia. It's a very good point, Rachel. Doesn't make us any less alien though, really.
Yeah, but you know, I would say this reminds me somewhat of sailing into Sydney. I think this is smokier than, or smoggy.
It certainly is at the moment. But Sydney's like a stunning city.
Yes, Sydney is stunning. You see the harbour bridge and you see the Opera House, but it's still a big city. I was quite blown away with Sydney actually.
Yeah, Sydney was great.
And I was a bit choked up that Finn wasn't with us.
Yeah. Sydney was awesome.
Right, better.
Okay, I've got to make a course change. So we got a problem. We just dropped the sails, started the engines to go into Batavia Marina, and the exhaust sounded wrong on port engine. I went and had a look, no water coming out. My absolute fear in it, and Nafa told me an example of it in Darwin before we left. He had unblocked a plastic bag that had gone up inside a sail drive, and it's a haul out job to even get it, if you can get it at all even then. Otherwise it's a remove the whole sail drive out of the compartment and try and pull it apart. It's a major potential. What we're going to try and do here is reverse it. I've taken the basket off here. I'm going to use this hose, force water back down the sail drive for starters. Actually, what I'll do first is I'll do a normal thing. We do a procedure where when we're recharging the basket with water. Declan?
Yeah.
You ready to start the engine and stop when I say?
Yeah.
Okay, go! You just see if the water coming out there now?
Water is coming out. I keep watching for plastic bags. That was good.
Now this is the test now. Okay. Now can you just watch that when it starts straight off? It should start straight off.
Yeah. Yes, water coming out.
The recharging seemed to reprime it okay, thankfully. It's going and it's pumping water. It's still pumping water? Yes, it's still pumping water. So that is something of a relief, but it doesn't take away the anxiety of the possibility of a plastic bag going up inside.
Gosh, there's such possibilities.
Yeah.
Always.
I thought about putting little grills across somehow, but go to port. Have a big time port, man.
Yeah.
Jack is the captain. Small decks. Oh yeah.
So how much is that? Is that 300 mils?
Oh no, we're going to do a reverse. We'll go on the other side by the look and reverse that.
Alright.
Oh, multitasking, Declan.
Yeah.
We need lines on the stern.
Lines on the stern.
It's all tangled.
Someone at the stern.
Ya, tahan.
Push it off, push it off, push it off, push it off.
Oke.
Good.
Tarik, Jan. Mainin dari situ. Tarik dulu, tarik. Mainin dari situ, mainin.
Come back.
Jangan ditarik banget. Mundur, jangan ditarik banget.
So a few of you have been wondering what I've been getting up to. And what I've decided to do is start a private Instagram story where I'm gonna post updates of what I'm doing on the day today. This is gonna be a paid subscription, which is gonna help fund my rowing. So if you are interested, pretty much I'm just gonna be picking up the camera whenever I can and just showing what I'm doing, out training, whatever I'm getting up to. It's gonna be pretty cool, I think. So if you are interested, again, send me a message and we'll go from there. Thanks guys, we'll see you later.